Hey guys, welcome back to AF Farms and welcome back to another episode of No Man's Land. So today we're taking a look at one of our final city blocks. So this is the city block where the fire station is located. So last video we talked about the garden centre, the Silver Run Market, and our little original setup with the restaurants. John Deere dealership, as you can see, it's looking a little bit sparse, so I've had to clean that out to make room for a few other things, but we'll add some stuff back into there. Basically what we'll do is we can sort of see stretching down the end of the road there. We've finished, this is probably one of the bigger, it's a longer block that wraps around the back of the town, and there's also a lake in the middle, which we'll talk about in a second, from where I built that bridge and extended the original No Man's Land lake. So what I'll do is I'm going to walk through from the side here. So we talked about the fire station in a previous episode, so we don't need to go over that again. Basically coming up here, we've got a couple of restaurants. So I've got the, looks like the Mexican restaurant and the McFuchsi. So they share a common block, if you will. So it's Mi Familia Mexican restaurant. So let's have a quick look here. So once again, I've gone the division through the middle. I've divided it up with two restaurants. I've given them a fairly big chunk of land. I probably didn't need to give them this much. So I may have to adjust that later if I want to put in some additional sale areas. Or the only things left really are the Silver Run forest, timber and wood related productions like the wood turner and things like that. So, but they're quite small, so I could slot them in potentially in some of these green areas. But once again, I don't want to overload the frame rate, so I've thinned out this area quite a bit because the fire station and the close proximity to the shop has a lot going on. So that's part of the reason for that. And I've pared this back quite a bit, so it's basically just a car park. Got some border stone car parking areas, couple of cars. I've got a little bollard boom gate situation here. So this is where the delivery point is. So the delivery point for this sell point is just here. So I've got to back the trailer in to drop off whatever I'm going to sell there. So that's the reason for that. And then obviously we've got a shared laneway. So the other thing too is some of these laneways, not all of them, but a lot of them link up. So you can sort of see there. And obviously the McFuchsi, we've got our little separating garden bed here. This is a mod 2. I can't remember who the mod creator is for this one, but once again, it's just a fast food restaurant. Paired it right back, so it's just concrete, border stone, a couple of decorative bins. I mean, if a bin can be decorative, but that's what they are, because obviously you want a place to put your rubbish. And then I've started to experiment with some of these textures, so the ground textures. So that's going to be another project to sort of finish off all the areas. So I've started to experiment with how that looks, rather than having sort of smooth, uniform textures and surfaces area everywhere. It's more about making it a little bit more interesting to look at. Obviously we've hedged that off, so let's go and have a quick look. So I've got this, this is a base game fence as well, so it's like a little steel area. So this is basically just to define the car parking area from the truck delivery, so this obviously opens as well. So I can get a truck and trailer through there. And it just gives me something to interact with as well, rather than just having a driveway. So looking at it, you can kind of see what this is sort of meant to be. And obviously the entrance, so rather than putting a hedge in everywhere, I'll just put this in, just to sort of define the area a little bit better. And then obviously car spaces here. I can't put any cars here because they interfere with the footprint of the building. But it just sort of tells the story of that particular restaurant. Alright, McFuchsi. Pretty cool. I think you can actually go in here. Yeah, you can. So it's got obviously a menu. This is obviously where you order, but there's nothing here. But yeah, cool mod. I think this door opens too, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So I could put another little, if I can shut these doors. I could put another little seating area out here if I wanted to, but I just haven't in this case, just to preserve the frame rate. Not have too much going on graphically to worry about. And then just a couple of trees just to fill out the area. And then obviously we've got our delivery point out the back here. So just in here, so plenty of room to drive the Profiliner in. A little bit of a tight turn. But I've dedicated quite a large block just to these two buildings. So that may change in the future. But I was a little bit unsure how to sort of finish this area, so that's kind of what I've come up with in the interim. But it depends if I'm going to do if I'm going to do some logging or forestry on this map, then I'll start putting the Silver Run Forest productions in. But I've got a Silver Run Forest Let's Play that focuses on that, so I don't really want to have that sort of take over this map. And if you don't have the Silver Run Forest DLC, then obviously you can't put that on No Man's Land, so I'm just trying to keep it a little bit more OG for the moment. Alright. Okay, over here we've just got some residential. So once again, got our little gate and fence set up. Cobblestone driveway. So I've paired back the buildings as well for this one. So I've only gone for 2 on this side. And I think we've got the ice cream shop that we used. Oh, sweet shop, sorry. This is obviously decorative, it doesn't do anything, but it just sort of finishes off that corner nicely. And then a couple of different little houses that we've got, a couple over in this area. So just sort of pared back the density just a touch, just to sort of help with just the overall feel. Don't want it to be too busy. So that's that there. So next to the McFuchsi. Alright, moving on. Let's have a look at, if I can get out of here. Should be able to jump this fence. Yep. Okay, so we've got the Aunt Emma shop. So I think this is a mod. Can't quite remember. But it's a sell point. And then I've paired that with a couple of small houses. So 2 identical houses, just to sort of fill the block in. So if we jump into the build mode, we'll have a look. So once again there, just to sort of pad out the block a little bit. A couple of trees to decorate the corners. The trigger point for this one, I believe, is in the front. And the delivery point is at the back. So once again, got a nice access road. I haven't decorated this with any cars yet, so that's something I've got to add in there yet. But that's basically what we've got going on there. So we'll talk about the river and the town centre in a little bit. So once again, just a bit of a restaurant, nothing too crazy. Once again, we've got our laneway, shared access. And then this backs onto the supermarkets at the S-Mart. So this is basically the supermarket. So I think this is from Elm Creek. So it's base game sell point. The delivery point is just here. So plenty of room to drive in and drop off goods we want to sell. And it'll accept most items, I'm pretty sure. I've started to experiment with the ground textures like I said before, so we've got some moss, dry grass, a little bit of gravel, just to sort of break up this area a little bit. Looks pretty cool, I think. Alright, let's cruise around to the front of the supermarket. So the supermarket, nice big car park, concrete. Got the border stone flower pots for the car park bays. We've got the same fence we used at the Mexican restaurant. So just to sort of define where the cars go versus where the pedestrians will walk. So obviously you're walking through here. Got a bit of a different ground texture for the apron of the building, just to sort of define it a little bit better. Obviously the entrance, you can't interact with it, but kind of tell the story. I had a flower pot here for a car space, but I deleted that, so we've got a bit of a walkway, and then same again. So in this case, so if we just jump into the build mode again, kind of got a bit of a different car park design, so a bit of a wraparound design, but still keeping in with our laneway delivery point access. So obviously the customers don't have to see all the rubbish and delivery paraphernalia out the back. And then we have a nice sort of frontage, if you will. And then we've got a shared driveway. So over here we've got a bit of an area under construction. So we've got the spinnery, the tailor shop, and the dairy. So just experimenting with the layout here at the moment. Not quite sure if this is what we're going to go with, but kind of want to get away from residential sell points, all that sort of stuff in the middle of the town, and over in this area here get into a bit more of an industrial sort of feel. So what I'm thinking is so obviously this is the river too, so we'll talk about that in a sec, but we've got this area here sort of earmarked for a couple of other production points. So possibly like the oil mill, grain mill maybe. We'll sort of see how it goes, but I don't want to have too much together, so I do want to spread it out a little bit. So haven't quite decided what's going to go here, but this was going to be more town, but I've decided to cut the town basically. This was going to be the middle of the town, and the town was going to extend out this way, but once I put the river in, it kind of made sense to cut the town off around this area. And then we've got our central park area, which will remain, but it's just going to be a matter of how we're going to style out the rest of this river. So originally what I had was, this was all fenced off, so I've removed the fence. I've still got the town fountain just there. We've got a little bit of a arbor hanging out in the lake. So originally this was just a lake, there was no river, and this is all bordered by fencing and grass. However, so if you haven't seen the video where I discussed the bridge, I'll quickly just run up this river here, so you'll see where we're at. So the bridge that I put in is over there, and then the lake and river system cut through what was part of the town. So you can sort of see I've laid out the grid pattern there, the roads, so they all extend out sort of south of where I'm looking now. But basically it's just blank canvas at the moment, so I haven't quite decided what we're going to do there. So this is one of the other bridges that I found that's in a decoration pack. So this is actually quite a good bridge. Very easy to place, nice and wide, and it covers a decent span. So that's going to live there. This is just courtyard, so I may dress this up a little bit. I've got quite a lot of benches. I don't know if I need that many. I might put some trees in as well, just to sort of dress up the area a little bit, because it is quite big. It's supposed to be big because it's supposed to be grand. I've got a little entry arbor here, sort of framing the town fountain. So when you come up the main street here, you kind of get the feel for it. So I think I've talked about this section here, the dovecoats on the side, in a previous episode. We've got this ornament here. So this is a moldboard plough, I'm pretty sure. This might be off of Goldcrest Valley. Not 100% certain, so someone might know in the comments, let me know. But I think it's in the Goldcrest Valley decorations pack. So I've just sort of hedged that off, made it a bit more of a feature. And then we're back to our original first block that we built. So it'd be good if we had flight mode on console, because it would just give you a bit more of a better visual feel of the overall map. But you can sort of see very pretty good looking town, really, I think, for console. So the next plan is basically just to come through, start refining, adding texture, figuring out how I'm going to finish up this little industrial area that I've got planned, and then start dotting around. So if I jump out into the bigger map just quickly. So obviously this is the town area we're talking about, sort of spreads out through there. But like dotting out some other production points, factories and that sort of stuff around the fringes. And then another project is going to be start carving up these fields a little bit more. So you can see here I've made a couple of smaller ones, but just sort of reduce these fields a little bit more, just so they're not so huge. Kind of keeps within the theme of the map. So I want it to be a bit of a mixture. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at for the town at the moment. So just do one quick little flyover, and then we'll finish the video off. So yeah, pretty big block there. The trees really make it, I think. And obviously the key buildings. So obviously the fire station, John Deere dealership, garden centre. Like, this would be considered the main road, and so would this on the outskirts of the city or the town. Now I do have plans to possibly put some other buildings on this stretch, so I haven't quite decided what we're going to do there yet. But I do kind of like having that field just sitting there directly across from the gas station, because the gas station's kind of positioned outside of the main town, and as you head up towards the farm, the look and feel of the map and the farm starts to change. So obviously over here, a lot more expansive, whereas over here we've got a lot more density with trees, and it's all divided up in that kind of fashion. So yeah, that's where we're at. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. Any questions, leave me a comment below. Yeah, love to hear your feedback, thoughts, comments. Keep them coming. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.